My name is Stuart Rostand and I grew up in Trinidad and Tobago. I enjoyed technical drawing as a kid and, it was kind of time to figure out what I wanted to do in life. So I said, well, architecture, why not?
I did Dalhousie University for Architecture School, where I got my master's degree, where I met Stuart. From there, I moved to Trinidad, where Stuart had already moved back. And then we realized we needed an Arctic adventure.
You want to come in the office? We were living in this little threeplex and we looked across the street and there was a vacant lot. We said, well, let's build a house.
The first project, the Nelson home, which was a traditional stick-built house, it came in pieces as a package. We knew that having components pre-built was the way to go, but lumber in the Arctic may not be the way to go. There's gonna be loss. You're gonna lose time, you're gonna lose equipment, you're gonna lose guys that are not gonna come back. The risk of building in the Arctic means you have to pad up that price, that cost.
We've seen so many guys trying to put Tyvek on a building in -50, blowing winds, and stuff like that just didn't make sense for us. We got it done way over budget, but I think that first project, we learned the most lessons. But we came out on the other end owning a home in the Arctic, and that's kind of where things kind of kicked off.
And from there, we realized that housing was needed. We had met a lot of people within the industry and decided, hey, how about we take a stab at this and see if we can design and build homes for the Arctic. Moving from the house to the first panel system we did, where we were able to close up within 10 days, we're like, okay, there's something to this.
I would say using that sort of prefab panel system, it was really successful. So over the years, we've done 2 multiplexes, as well as a mixed-use commercial building. And then, that sort of evolved to, okay, how are we able to tackle the housing needs of all communities? So that's when we started thinking about modular.
My name is Kendall Navigot. I'm the Executive Director and co-founder of the Ultimate Friendship Society, based out of Cambridge Bay.
KFS, actually, they purchased our first modular build, so they actually own and operate that 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom home as a transitional home for women. The big sticking point with transitional housing, and none of it, is where does that person transition to?
The public housing wait list for Cambridge Bay, I believe, was 10 years at one point for one person to go into a 1-bedroom house.
Giving people a chance to be homeowners, there's been a lot of barriers to that. Barriers include not having a savings plan, not understanding what it means to have a down payment.
At the time, our goal was to incentivize homeownership, and we chose very early on not to take a profit from this project, that we're going to see if we can get first-time homeowners into these units. In the end, we got 1 first-time homeowner, 1 small business, and then the 3rd unit, we got a non-for-profit that use it for transitional housing.
The North is very welcoming to people coming in with different expertise and different suggestions. With those conversations, you learn more about what the needs, maybe not what the wants are, what are the needs of the community.
So in 2022, we decided, let's make the units smaller. Let's see if we can do a multiplex using the same sort of modular setup. Shared mechanical space, shared water tanks. We were thinking that if we make those units a little smaller as well, we can bring a home to market, a 1-bedroom, 630 odd square foot unit for $325, $350 max.
but we always knew you can't just take a great idea and just plop it up there. We have different realities.
What's different about our modular design is that it's really designed for the Arctic. And what it is a foam panel, 7.5 inches thick. How we lift the pods on and off of the ship is we use lifting lugs. You know, we spend a bit more in our building envelope, but we know that that's going to pay off in the long term. You know, these panels over 200 plus years will maintain their R values. There's a huge cost in building a mechanical room. So the idea of a multiplex is that you have shared systems. So we have one fuel tank versus 4 fuel tanks, one main water tank versus 4 water tanks and all the plumbing that goes with that, one water pump, one hot water tank, and then one boiler. You know, it's very important that we get our mechanical rooms right because this is really the heartbeat of our building.
Next, we enter into the living pod, which is built off-site. This is the living room where we've added a queen-size bed into the couch that allows for overnight guests.
You know, $460,000 seemed unaffordable to a lot. The government is receiving tenders, NHC, Nunavut Housing, for $1,000 to $1,200 a square foot. So we are almost half that cost. From an affordability standpoint, we are doing stuff that NHC is not able to do right now. We proved that we can build at a better cost than what people were building at.
We want people to feel at home, feel this is their place where they're gonna live, where they can expand and grow their families.
Right now, I feel like I grew into my confidence and wanting to have a home of my own.
Nice.
Everybody who lives here knows it's a problem, that it's hard to get homes, but nobody talks about projects that may come to fruition like that.
Having my own home, I get to start fresh, I get to make my own memories, I get to make positive memories.
I do enjoy having to, call somewhere my own. You get to live your own life and make your own rules.
We know we have a product, but we want to make sure the product's sustainable. The last thing we want 10 years from now is that these houses have been abandoned or homeownership is not talked about anymore because it was a failure. So instead of providing bigger grants, which is great, to actually purchase these and make them affordable, we also have to make sure that they're educated, that people are not fearful, that they feel as though they can do this.
For us to really be able to build units at scale and deliver at scale, we need help financially in realizing what we want to do, which is to build a factory in Winkler, Manitoba, a 16,000 square foot facility that we can produce at scale year round. We bring people north all the time, right? But our idea is to do the opposite. What does that look like if we flip that around, bring people south?
Have them work on a product that's going to be going to the Arctic.
It'll be similar to an assembly line, so raw materials in one door, and then we start to build the pods all the way to the finish, so it's pretty much like a car factory. The next step is really to get this funding, take it to the next level, while all at the same time discussing what partnerships look like.
At the moment, we're getting a lot of support where people and organizations and different partners are saying, yeah, we're on board, but we're all hinging it on if we can get the funding. So by having people lined up to say, if you can get this done, we will purchase, is what we're working on while we're doing all the work we need to do to make it a reality.
They came as a young couple with an idea. We helped develop that idea, funded them through the various projects that they've been working with. They're long-term Northerners, so they understand the Northern issues when it comes to building homes. So it's a good fit for us to partner with them as well.
We're able to build one fourplex at a time because we finance everything from start to finish. CMHC funding would really allow us to scale so much more quickly. With this facility, we can build, we think, 80 to 100 pods in any given year at scale. If it didn't happen, we're so passionate about what we're doing, we'll find another way.
Having the CMHC funding, we wouldn't have a debt on the building, which we then have to in turn charge on the houses. It makes affordability even more achievable. So So if we can build out of a factory, we can actually provide those better estimates. We can provide visuals. We can tell you timelines. We'd love to be able to be that tool.
We can actually manufacture that home off-site, bring it up on the barge at a known cost, and then give you the keys within 2 or 3 weeks of a barge arriving, a home designed for the Arctic. Building those right partners that can provide that service and allow us to scale and really create a difference, you know. Want a home in the Arctic? Well, Arctic Modular Homes is who you go to.
We are Arctic Modular Homes.